How y'all doing? Long time no see. Alright, let's try and do some more metal melting. Haven't done that in ages. So this is the tweer I'm using. Yeah, it's a brass pipe. It was like $5 at Lowe's. It's for a sink. Bathroom sink. But what you're looking at here is the Kwiky blower that Dave has designed. I'll make a link to his page. And unfortunately, I don't think I have enough air going through it. This is the pancake compressor I'm using. But the regulator's broken, so it's stuck full open. So you'd think it'd be enough air. I originally thought this thing I needed to have forced air on top of it. That's why you see the random duct tape. I had a shop vac hooked up to it. Don't have a shop vac anymore, so... But it's basically a siphon nozzle. So the air, you can see, has the quick connect to the back, and you can see the tube is the oil. And Dave has two videos. Like I said, I'll make a link to his channel. But he has two videos, one where he has the air in front and one where he has the air in back. Essentially, I have a MIG tip behind this. I don't know if you can actually see it. Let's step out in the sun. Barely see the MIG tip in there. I filed it down to a cone. Now I think that might be part of the issue. As you can see there, it's excuse me, it's offset, so that might be limiting the oil. But I contacted Dave. He said waste motor oil, that's what this is designed for, but a lot of people tend to use kerosene or diesel first to warm up the furnace, and then they switch over to the motor oil. So I'm gonna stop recording, splice this together hopefully, but what I'm gonna do, since I have no charcoal, I'm gonna start a fire in here and hope I can get this going, and then see if I can get where we need to go. I'll pop back in when we get there. Alright, it's not fully up and running, but I have it just burning wood, have the tweer hooked up, no oil at the moment. So let's see how this runs with just the pancake compressor only supplying air. See if that might be my issue, is I don't have enough airflow. But figured I would say something before I turn this thing on. I have a hole in the bottom of the furnace to allow drainage if the crucible breaks or if I'm doing like bulk melting. Because when I originally did this, it was just charcoal and a hair dryer. And see the smoke just pouring out. It looks thicker in reality. But I mean, that's just air at the moment. Wait for it to bleed down. I may try throwing oil into it while the wood's burning, and then once it's hopefully hot enough, the oil will self-sustain. We'll find out in a few. It's still bleeding down, but the oil's introduced. You can see it just siphoned it right up. But the fire doesn't really look like it's changed. Like, we're just giving this a whirl, seeing if we get success. If we don't get success, I'll pull out the tweer later and just show you how much it actually sprays, which I think it's very little, because I'll provide a link to Dave's video. Now, I noticed he was using either kerosene or off-road diesel or heating oil, but when he ran his, it literally was pouring a white mist out of his furnace. I don't even get a white mist barely out of that tube. So I may need to reconstruct the burner or switch them around. I don't know. Mainly making this video for Dave to review, but we'll see how it goes. And sadly, I think I'm using the wrong name. But I'm sure I'll get a reply. Yeah, I'll post back on with a little more update. Alright, I'm gonna do something stupid, but you'll see. I don't even think you can see the mist on camera. It's misting ever so slightly. See, that sounds promising, but really no change in the fire. And it was sputtering because an air bubble got in there. And she's smoking. We shall see. Of course, I turn on the camera again, it stops doing what it was doing. You know, I just had a realization. Maybe it's too much air pressure. And again, I hear people say they only want to use 40 psi. That's sounding promising. Do we have success? We'll find out when the charcoal's gone. Actually, this brings up another point. Sorry about the air compressor being on. But here's my new lid. And that would be probably the problem. The hole is too small, and I believe it's going to smother the flames. Yep. So the next problem is I gotta figure out how to widen this hole. But so far, this looks successful. We'll see how it goes. Sorry for the noise so loud. But looking at this, you can see that's the inlet. There's no flames. The oil is not igniting until it hits the coals. So I'm thinking most of this is from the coals, not the oil. So looking at it, I'm thinking I'm going to have to rebuild the furnace. Not necessarily the furnace, but the tweer. Well, this may be a failure. This fell apart on me. That's what I meant by the regulator's broken. If you saw it, it was one of those inexpensive Porter cable or Harbor Freight pancake compressors. And they have an issue with their diaphragm. And there's a plastic piece that breaks off. Did some YouTube research, and a common way to fix it is to go buy, I think it was 30 cents worth of hardware, and you shove it back in, and you saw that it works, except for I can't control the pressure. And of course this spring's a pain. So I'm gonna have fun trying to rig this back together. Hopefully the wood I threw in there lights and we can continue the test. Tell me that's not hot enough. If it wasn't for those coals, you wouldn't be hearing the jet noise. And to be honest, this isn't even a fair saying of used motor oil, because last time I tried this I ended up mixing in gas here. So the bottle I'm using has gasoline in it with the used motor oil. It sounds good, but I'm beginning to think it's probably because of the air pressure I can't get it to work. There's too much air going through it. Tank's holding at about 130. Yeah, tank's going at about 130. And it looks like it was pumping out 120 psi. And part of the other issue is this gets hot as shit. So, because it never lets it fill up to hit the shutoff point. Unfortunately, I'm too broke at the moment to really do anything. What I need to do is have some money and either buy a regulator for this or haul the 200-gallon air compressor from my brother's house and fix it. But God knows how much that'll cost. Yeah, I mean, the oil is igniting, but that's only because there's coals in there. Now, maybe not, because it looks like... Can you see it? Let's see if I can get it to come up on the camera. Yeah, you can just barely see it on the camera. The cement is starting to glow. Yeah, we might have success. Now, if you're curious how I built this or what it's consistent of, it's just a homemade refractory. I bought Portland cement when I lived in Alaska, 8 years ago? 7 years ago. 7 years. I left Alaska in 2013. Yeah, I went to Granger, bought a $5 metal bucket, probably a little too expensive, but Portland cement, and at the time I had clay from Amazon, just regular potting clay. And I went to Lowe's and got a 30-gallon bag filled with their sawdust. Okay. That's disgusting. Apparently the people who lived here before me decided to dump all their cat litter right there. think I would have realized that, but yeah. And I didn't really mix in any particular ratio. I did it all by hand. I kind of just grabbed a handful of sawdust and clay, and then I grabbed the dry powdered Portland cement, made it all into like a paste in my hands, and just rammed it in there. I had a sonotube in the middle. I lined the bottom of it with about 1 inch to 1.5 inches of the same mixture, but again, I left a hole in the middle so if there was any leaks or anything, the aluminum can come out. But an added side effect to that is I think the old lid, I didn't have enough ventilation for it to let the air flow out. So I'm gonna say the hole I had in the old one was about twice the size. I was trying to use a toilet paper tube as a mold for it, and I know this is not as big as that. I mean, here's my hand for reference. Hell, it's not even the same diameter as the inlet. So, now, as we've been talking and explaining, yeah. But again, I think that's just the airflow and the charcoal. Yeah, something got me. Yeah. So, I mean, it's not a particularly special furnace. Considering I just used an old shower, like a curtain shower rod. And, an old radiator piping and a hair dryer. And I just go out and buy bags of either Kingsford charcoal, or when I was in California, they had pellets of just pine pellets for heating stoves. And those were stupid cheap. And I just used those. Worked well till the hair dryer died. So, yeah, I'm not done yet, but we'll see what happens. I'll chime you back in before I come to the conclusion and try and post all this stuff. Yeah, I'm going to chalk this up to a failure. I see no flames. I know the design is bad as well. That's part of the issue, is when I built this with the hair dryer, it just went straight in. Give that thing a break. And there's a slight angle to it now, but when I built this thing, it was just straight in. And looking at the path that's cleared out, it's still basically straight. Now, when it catastrophically fails, I intend on banging it out, and I'll probably go get, what is it? Not bituminous clay. Those that are familiar with this know which clay I'm talking about, but I'll probably go get that and mix it. I'll break this up to make it an aggregate and get the clay and just line the whole thing with that. Another idea, when I rebuilt the lid, I bought kiln shelves, and it's 2 separate shelves, and they're held together. Where did I put it? Yeah, lovely garage I have here, right? Need to figure out everything. Where the hell did it go? And if you don't like swearing, I apologize, but I basically use the F word as a comma, so I'm definitely toned down for this video. There it is. Put a layer of this in the middle. Says it can withstand up to 2,000 degrees. Something tells me it can go more. I know you can buy other ones that are known to withstand up to 3,000 degrees. Alright. Money being no object, I would definitely do, what is his name? SV Seeker, where he's building a boat in his backyard. He builds one of these out of a 55-gallon drum, but he has a propane burner. And he uses Seri Set, which is, I believe, a brand name of one of those cements that can withstand 3,000 degrees. Okay. You know what? I should have done that the last time instead of trying to get that to all just... Yeah, I'll post this for Dave to see. Dan? Dave? You'll see the link to his channel. I'll post a video, I'll splice a video in saying I apologize for using the wrong name, or hey, I had the right name the whole time. But I would appreciate the reply, because I'm just trying to troubleshoot it. It just seems it should be, with the Kwiky burner, it's a simple siphon burner. But I do remember you saying something about 40 PSI. So I'm thinking that might be a lot of my issue at the moment. But if I get a reply from you, let me know if you want me to actually take it apart and show the inner workings. Show you my makeshift job at making this. But any help would be appreciated, because I miss doing this as a hobby. Not to mention I have quite a lot of aluminum cans I need to go through. Because that was my attempt last 3 weeks ago, I think. When I first contacted you was actually the day I tried doing it. That's what I started. And these are all cans. This is all crushed cans. This is mixed cans and plastic. Cans and plastic. Cans. The ammo box has magazines in it. No, not those magazines. Actually, the ones you flip through and read. Yeah, I mean, I've got a lot of projects, but one of the things I would really like to do is be able to get back into my metalworking hobby. And that was the other thing. That furnace also doubled as my forge. With a lower air supply with charcoal, you could take the railroad spikes and knock out a decent knife. Unfortunately, I don't only have a railroad tie to use as an anvil. I think this may become my next tweer after I clean it up. You can see I got more aluminum here. Yep. About a pound. Half a kilo. Yeah. Or 30 cans. So, I would just like to get back into this hobby. And the Kwiky design looks fantastic. Looked like exactly what I needed. But I'm thinking it's user error. Alright, I shall catch you later.